habits, I actually created this brand a couple of years ago when I was at a real estate investment retreat, and I was thinking, how in the world can I marry real estate with traveling? Because I was a crazy, chaotic, busy real estate agent as well with my buyers and my sellers, and quite honestly, I didn't really enjoy that. I enjoyed more of the traveling part of life. So we have done a lot over the past, few years, and we're Airbnb host, short-term rental host. We have other investment properties as well. I own my real estate firm that I recently partnered, 3 years ago, partnered with eXp Realty. And also business coach and world traveler, been in like 43 countries. So, hey, I got a lot more to go to. But that's just a little bit about myself. There we go. So we're going to talk about passive income today, guys, because some of you were there yesterday and heard my speech at the Comeback Summit, and I am so passionate about passive income. And there's a lot of reasons why I'm so passionate about it, and I'll touch on it a little bit today. But really the biggest thing is, why do you want passive income? You showed up today for a reason. So is it because you wanted to travel more? Is it because you wanted more time with your loved ones or your kids or your aging parents, right? There's a lot of reasons why we need to have passive income in our life. And really, it's all about having less stress. Because when you're a busy real estate agent, are you stressed out at all? I know I was. Yeah, for sure. We got into real estate thinking that it's this career that we can set our own schedule at our own time and we can have all this free time, and that's not really how it works out, right? So what happened with me was, I don't know why this isn't working. Here we go. All right, well, that was just some dreams and goals. Thinking about your dreams and your goals, what is it that you want to accomplish, okay? Sometimes it's material things. Sometimes it's traveling. Sometimes it's just more free time. So I thought I wanted all of the fancy things, and I still do, right? But that's not my why. My why really hit me like a ton of bricks a couple of years ago. And it's when my dad got cancer. And when we found out that my dad had cancer, I was literally closing on another house. We were flipping properties at the time. We had long-term rentals at the time. I was helping my buyers and sellers at the time a lot. And I got that phone call, and so much started running through my head. I was like, no, I'm busy. I got to meet contractors in an hour. I've got clients to show properties tonight. This is not the perfect time for my dad to have cancer, and I have to take off work. That was where my head went first, and I'm embarrassed to tell you that right now, but that's exactly where I went. And then it hit me like a ton of bricks that none of that mattered. Because when you get that one phone call, it changes your entire life. Nothing else matters except for saving. For me, it was my dad. For you, it might be, a child or a family member, or you may get the call that something's wrong with you and your health, right? That can really mess with you emotionally, physically, everything. So what happens if you can't work for 6 months? What happens if you actually needed to take that time off? Will you be able to pay your expenses, your mortgage, your car payment, your insurance? Well, 95% of the realtors out there couldn't do that. There's no way. They couldn't just not work for 6 months. And so that's another reason why I'm so passionate about having passive income and helping other agents have passive income as well. So when we were in Mexico, we did something called house hacking. And house hacking is whenever you rent out your personal property, and it actually pays all of your expenses on your personal property, and it pays towards wherever you're going to be renting or vacationing or whatever. So in this situation, this was our very first time doing this, and this is our house. We still own this house back in Raleigh. This house paid us last year to live in it half a year. So just the first month I was in Mexico with my dad, because I took my dad to Mexico for alternative cancer therapy. That's why I had to take a month off work. This house alone paid us over $2,200 the first 2 weeks that we were in Mexico. That paid our mortgage, and that paid for our beachfront condo living in Mexico. We're doing it again right now. Again, our mortgage is $1,500. We have this house rented out for $3,600 a month right now. So that extra $2,000 is going toward our rent on our literally mansion in Cabo, Mexico right now. And so we're essentially living for free, and you can do that. And it's called house hacking. And so this is what got us into the short-term rental space, because when this happened, I was like, oh my gosh, I think we're onto something. Like, why are we only doing this with our personal property? Why don't we do this with like more houses? And at the time, we had 15 long-term rental properties. And so we ended up buying 2 more properties while we were down in Mexico. And then we ended up getting into arbitrage, which is, I'm going to explain what arbitrage is today, where it's literally using other people's properties to build your short-term rental portfolio, and you're generating all of that positive cash flow on other people's properties. So that is how we got into short-term rentals. I've done a lot of passive income type investing, lots of multiple streams of income, and these are my favorite 3. So yes, long-term rentals are great. I'll get into a little about why we don't want to do long-terms anymore right now. But short-term rentals have been amazing. I'm really going to dive deep into that today. And then I'm going to dive into the revenue share with eXp Realty. And some of you may not be familiar with the model, and I'm not going to go through the whole model today, but I am going to give you enough information to make a decision if you want to learn more about the company. So, long-term rentals. With long-term rentals, if this is something that you're looking to do, the passive income is okay. All right, it's not the best. You're going to make a few $100s a month in cash flow, and you better hope and pray the HVAC don't go out that year, because that's going to take up your entire profit. But when you're looking to purchase these properties, I've never bought a property off the MLS. I always go directly to the homeowner, and we find a lot of our properties on Craigslist, because these are for sale by owners. And at this point, you can find them on Zillow. I mean, you guys know how to find for sale by owners. And so we just go directly to them, and we make them a deal. And we bought 9 in 1 year on owner finance terms. Are you all familiar with what owner financing is? So pretty much you're not involving the bank at all. You're going directly to the owner of the property, and you're saying, hey, do you want to act as the bank? Do you want to hold this note for me? And then you're going to make, 5% on your money here. Your CPA is going to love it because you're going to pay less taxes. Go talk to him. I'm not a CPA. But the reality is you're going to earn 5% interest on this money versus if I just pay you cash, then what are you going to do with that money? Are you going to go put it in your bank account? Like, how much are they going to pay you? Maybe 0.25%? Like, not a very good investment. Don't ever leave your money in a bank account, right? So we love owner finance deals, obviously going through, there's defaults, foreclosures, all of that stuff. They're all great ways to get long-term rental properties. All right, so let's jump into the short term. I love short term. When we first started out with short term, we bought our first 3 properties. And we were buying them the same way, owner financing, that's my thing, I like it. And we started out doing that, and then I heard that you could do something called arbitrage. So I was closing on another house, and I look across the street, and I see this little bitty, like the for sale by owner signs. Well, this is the for rent signs, and that this is like an owner wouldn't put it in the front yard. And so I called it. Her name was Barbie, and I just started rapping. I was just like, hey, I own a real estate brokerage, and I have clients coming into town, and I'm looking for more properties to put them up in while they're in town because they're relocating here, and I need a place for them to stay while I show them properties. And she was like, that's genius. And I was like, that is genius. And that's what really started us on this whole thing. And we got up to 15 short-term properties, and we did this exact thing called arbitrage on all of them except for the first 4 that we owned. Does that make sense? Do you have questions? If you have questions, like as I'm going through this, be like,
Go into a little bit more detail on the arbitrage.
So, with the arbitrage, you're going directly, again, don't go through property management companies because you're going to spend all day trying to explain what you're doing and they're not going to understand. So go directly to the homeowner that has the property for rent. Again, you can find them on Zillow, you can find them on Craigslist, like a for rent sign in the front yard. Go directly to them. I have a whole pitch that I give to them. I have a landlord letter. And then they are renting the property to my company, to my LLC. And so they are guaranteed to get the payment every single month through my company, all right, because I'm paying automatically. I go into the property. It's like a master lease, like a sandwich lease pretty much. So I go into the property, I fix it up if it needs to be fixed up, and then I completely furnish it, make it beautiful, and then I sublet that out. And at the time, I was doing all of these on Airbnb. So they were getting triply insured, and they loved that. I had one landlord tell me he didn't want to rent to me anymore because I wasn't on Airbnb anymore. That's how crazy it is. Like, he loved it because I sell them on the fact that if I have your property on Airbnb, you're insured from your normal homeowner's insurance, you're insured from Airbnb's policy, and I have a separate policy on top of that that's including the liability and anything else that happens in the property. So like, they're triply insured on these properties. And they're guaranteed by me and my company that payment is going to get paid every single year. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. So they love it. Like, when you really break it down, when we were going to see these properties, we didn't tell anyone what we were doing on the phone. That is a big no-no. You got to get in the door. You got to build that relationship with that homeowner. And then as you're walking around and you're seeing the property and you're complimenting the property and you're getting to know that homeowner, that's when you say, you know, I run my business a little bit different. We actually will not be living here. You wear your name tag. You dress professional. I own a real estate brokerage, okay? And you do. Even if you're with eXp, you own a real estate brokerage. You are the owner in the company. And so, or you work with a company if you're not with us, right? So whatever that may be, but that automatically builds that trust factor because you are a licensed professional. And, you know, I hand them my card, walk in, and it's just like the status, right? And you're not in there like, please rent to me. No. You're in there like, this might work. I don't know, I need to see the tub. We might have to reglaze that because, you know, that needs to be like sparkling clean. And when they start hearing you talk about that, they're like, oh, this person's really going to take care of my property. So that's how
you let them know that you do that. You do that.
Oh, yeah.
Or you don't get them to do that.
No. They really don't even go on the property after that. No, I do everything. But you got to be careful because not all properties are going to fit your criteria. Only about 10% will. Because you don't want to go into a property that is rent ready when you need it short-term rent ready. Does that make sense? Rent ready is like a crappy rental property with cracked tiles and scratches on the counters. Like, you can't have any of that. You're going to kill yourself with the market. You're going to kill your name. You have to have really nice properties. You have to have granite. You have to have nice flooring. It's clean. I can't stress. Clean. Very clean. Yeah.
So do you have, then, did you do your own lease and have an attorney do that, or?
So, two things. When we were doing it on Airbnb, you don't have to. They take care of all of that. Since COVID hit, we had to pivot a little bit. So we're doing more like 30, 60, 90-day rentals at this point. So we did create our own lease.
Sublet it?
For that lease, I do all of my leases with the landlord. I do that with just the standard North Carolina contract. And then I have an addendum.
Okay.
And the addendum overrides the lease.
Okay.
Yep. So just making sure, you know, it's the location's good too. You don't want to get into a property that is kind of sketch because you're, again, going to get bad reviews and then no one's going to want to stay at your property.
So you're not doing them on Airbnb now?
I have them listed on Airbnb, and if I have a week in between, long term, I do 30, 60, 90 at this point. And if I have some time in between, then I will make it available on Airbnb, but I prefer not to at this point. So I'm getting a lot of really good people coming in, and I'll explain a little bit later about why I'm doing that, because these longer terms are attracting more of the relocation guests, and that's what I want. Yeah. Yes. So really it's all about, you know, finding the property, obviously your Craigslist, your networking, your investment groups, all of that, and being active on social media. Let your friends know what you're looking for. You would be surprised at how many people have access to their friends and their family members that have properties for rent or for sale or whatever. And I mean, you can list it, you can rent it, you can do whatever you want to. You're an agent. So just being very public on social media is a huge plus. And then furnishing these properties, I get into the whole thing. I have a course on this. I get into the whole thing. really it's about, again, relationships. Building those relationships with wholesalers and just doing it a little bit differently. I mean, you could go and order everything off of Amazon, but you're going to spend so much money. We're into these properties for like $10,000 a pop, and that's it. That's all furniture. So, and then filling it. This is really the best thing for real estate agents, and this is what I teach all my agents to do. So, when you're doing short-term rentals, you are promoting yourself as a licensed agent, and if they're moving into the area, then you or your team will be available to show them properties. That is huge. I cannot tell you how many referrals have came in just from this. They see my profile, they see everything. We have we do a lot of social media advertising as well, and I always have this in everything that we do, and it's nonstop. Lisa, you've done this. What's been your experience in the past few months?
It's been insane. We switched to the 30-day rentals, and within the first day, we had 5 people inquiring to stay there. We put it on Airbnb, and it's been booked ever since. And we've gotten 4 relocation clients in the past 6 months.
Wow.
So how do you get, in Nashville specifically, Davidson County, which is a metropolitan county, like you really can't do Airbnb. You can't buy properties for Airbnb anymore, or even put them on Airbnb. I don't feel like. So I guess you just have to get on the outskirts.
Even 30 days?
I don't know. Do you know? Like I know the Airbnb has like really about a year ago. I need to probably do a little more due diligence.
Raleigh tried to pass that.
It did pass here.
Yeah.
It did pass
It's really,
here.
and there's only a couple of agents that really know how to work that in depth.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like Jessica knows that, but like I was telling
Yeah.
you, that's.
So you got to follow
Curious
the
about the
rules
Airbnb.
for wherever city
Yeah.
you're in, right? When we got really big was when Raleigh, it was just out. It was news articles everywhere, like Raleigh's going to pass this law, no more Airbnbs in the city limits. So we didn't get any properties in the city limits. We got all of our properties on the outskirts. So I don't know how familiar you are with Raleigh, but there's all these little pocket cities on the outskirts, like within 30 minutes of downtown Raleigh. And so that's where all of our properties were, and they are staying booked. I mean, they've stayed booked the entire time that we've had them, because people aren't really going to Raleigh to go downtown. People may come here to go downtown because it's Nashville, right? But those are not your people. If you're using this business the way I want you to use this business, you're not trying to attract vacationers that are going to come party in your house for the weekend.
That's right.
You're trying to attract people who are moving to the area.
Yeah.
So they want to be on the outskirts because they want to check out Murfreesboro. They want to check out all these little towns, and they have family that live in these little towns. And that's what usually draws them to that town.
Right.
And so then they want to be by them. So it doesn't matter where your properties are. Like we just got a property in Sanford, which is like the middle of nowhere in North Carolina. And we just got a property in Wilmington, and it doesn't matter. It just has to be safe. We did get a property in Durham, and it was terrible. We learned our lesson, right? Got to be safe. But yeah, it doesn't matter.
And you said you stay way, way, way away from HOA stuff.
No HOAs.
Yeah.
No HOAs. No condos.
No condos.
No.
Or
Condos are a
townhomes.
nightmare.
What
They're-
about townhomes?
Townhomes? Sometimes.
Questionable.
I have a hard rule about HOA, and this one owner begged and begged and begged, and this is what happens when you let emotions get involved. I said yes, because she was literally crying, wanting us to take over her property because she was moving. And so I said yes, and we took it, and the HOA said that we could do short-term rentals with her property. There was nothing there. She went to the HOA, yes, everything's fine. Well, then her nosy neighbor got involved, and now her nosy neighbor is over there, just like they're doing at your place, right? Well, how long are you here for? Well, why are you here? Like, just completely bugging all of our people. So we took it off of Airbnb, and now we're just renting that through our network. We're doing corporate housing now. We're doing insurance claims now. We're doing all kinds of stuff. So we've expanded a little bit more. But yeah, just try to stay away from HOA neighborhoods, because with those, I'm telling you, like, it's a nightmare. So yes. All right. So boom. Go. I think these batteries might be old. Okay. So let's talk about the money part of this. So I mentioned earlier about, I don't buy the properties anymore. I am leasing them from the landowner, okay, from the homeowner. So when you're purchasing a property, you're putting 10 to 20% down. This is based on like a $200,000 property. Do they even exist here anymore?
No, pretty rare.
Yeah, they're getting pretty rare in Raleigh too. But just for numbers purposes, this is you're looking at spending between $30,000 and $50,000 down payment on the property, and then of course you're having to furnish it on top of that. But we're just talking about down payment right now. So when you're doing a lease on it, okay, you're only paying that first month and that last month because you're paying your security deposit. So first month and your security deposit. And then it's costing between $5,000 and $8,000 to furnish the home. And most of our homes are 3-bedroom, 2-bath. And so we are literally into these properties for $10,000 versus $50,000, right? So if you're really looking at scaling this is if you were going to, let's just say, get 3 properties. Because 3 properties is going to be an okay income, okay passive income, right? It's probably going to pay your mortgage, maybe your car payment. So if you got 3 properties, if you bought it, then you're looking at spending over $150,000 with your down payments, with your furniture, with everything that you're having to do. If you're just leasing the properties, you're looking at $30,000. To me, that was a no-brainer because I'm always looking at what can I put the least amount of money in that's going to get me the biggest return, right? So that's really what you have to think about when you're trying to analyze, like, do I buy it or do I lease it? Now, if you lease it, you're not going to get the depreciation, you're not going to get the tax benefits, all that stuff, but do your numbers. So the goal here is to get about at least $700 positive cash flow per property when you're doing Airbnb short-term rentals, okay? And I keep saying Airbnb because we were 100% Airbnb until now. And now we're changing over to more short-term rental, 30, 60, 90 day. We're actually working on creating a company that's going to be competition to Airbnb. And so it's going to be 30, 60, 90 because that's really what the market needs right now. And so if you're looking at this, and I can go into all of that, but that's just like tips on how to do it. If you're really interested in really getting involved and like deep diving into this, let's have a conversation. But if you're let's just say you're doing 5 properties, then you're going to be generating about $3,500 a month, and that's a realistic number. Okay. All right. So I'm going to show you this, and then I'm going to show you a graph. So revenue share is through eXp. So eXp pays a revenue share, meaning it's a certain percentage on every house sold until they cap. So as an example, if you refer an agent over to the company and they sell a property for $500,000, at a 3% commission, that's a $15,000 commission that's being paid on that property. You follow me? So I get 3.5% of that. So that 3.5% is $525. So on every agent that I personally refer to my company, I get paid 3.5%, in this scenario, $525 when they close their house, plus stock. But I'm not going to get into that. So this is the revenue share model. And I tell you this because this is what I had to do, all right? I started out with long-term rentals. We had 15 long-term rentals. We were earning between $200 and $500 per property on those. It was okay. It wasn't like life-changing money. It wasn't like I'm going to stop working. Like, that was not enough money. So then we got into the short-term rentals and the Airbnb, and I was like, oh, we're making like 3 to 5 times more money with Airbnb. So that's pretty cool. Well, now we're really digging in to the revenue share. And my first couple of years with eXp, I didn't dig into revenue share. I was like heads down, like doing my investment stuff, which was really dumb. I wish I'd have got in earlier, right? But if you're looking at this, if you're getting 5 long-term rental properties, you're going to invest between, say, $50,000 to $100,000. Okay, actually, that's not right, is it? 5 long-term money investors, you're investing way more than that. Yeah, so that's not the correct number. But you're generating about $200 per property, so you're bringing in about $1,000 a month. Like, what is that going to do, right? Or you could do 5 Airbnb properties. You can invest $50,000, and that's going to bring in about $3,500 a month. So that's good. That's going to kind of ease if you don't get a deal this month, that's going to at least pay your hard expenses, hopefully, with your mortgage and your car payment and insurances. Well, what I really had to sit down and analyze was I have an opportunity with eXp where I can refer 5 agents to the company. I don't have to put any of my own money in, and I'm going to get paid $2,800 a year if they all cap, meaning they sell like $2.6 million of real estate. So that's about $1,100 a month. Still not life-changing, right? But if I help those 5 agents go do the exact same thing that I just did, which really is not that hard, then that's going to bring in over $7,000 a month in passive income. And that's where like the light bulb went off for me, because I started doing this and it's working. We have over 100 agents on our team. Kathy, you have over 700 agents on your team, and it's just like snowball effect. And so the reason why that's working so well is because eXp is not a franchise. It's one brokerage worldwide. And right now we're in 4 countries. We are opening 5 more countries before the end of the year. That's one of the reasons why I'm spending more time in Mexico, because we're opening Mexico in the next few weeks. And so literally you're cutting out all of these franchise fees, the fees, the brick and mortar buildings, everything that goes with having a franchise. You're cutting all of that out. All of those people that are going to have to get paid, like the regional owner and the franchise owner and the office manager, and all of those people are no longer getting paid, because eXp is one brokerage. It's one cloud-based brokerage. There is no brick and mortar location, so we're not having to worry about any of those expenses, and that's why they can pay us so much more and provide so much more training. So this is funny. It says 20 hours a week of live training. There's more like 80 hours a week of live training, right? So there's tons and tons and tons of live training. It's all done in our cloud office. It's called The World, and it's a real office. Like, it's not a Zoom. You literally go into the office and you take a training and you sit in a chair. Yeah, it's a whole campus. Yeah, and so the other thing about the campus is you literally can go in and get real-time support. So if you have a question for accounting or payment processing or the transaction team or I don't know, whoever else, tech support. Oh, I love tech support. I'm not very good with my computer, and so sometimes it goes a little crazy. And so I can just go into tech support and they like take control of it and fix it. And I don't have to go to Best Buy. I don't have to go make an appointment at Apple. Like, it's just done. So that's probably the number one benefit for for eXp World. And then also the international collaboration. As I mentioned earlier, we are opening Mexico. So when you are an agent with eXp, if you know an agent in Mexico or Australia or wherever else in the world that we are open or we are opening, if you refer that agent to the company, then now you are going to get a part of that commission that eXp is going to pay you. They're going to pay like a referral fee for every house that they sell. So that's the genius part of this, is because you're no longer locked in like your backyard, right? If you were, besides Nashville, Tennessee, what if a bomb was dropped on Nashville, Tennessee? Like, there's no other revenue coming in. With eXp, if you have agents in all these different cities, I got 40 agents in Los Angeles. Guess what? That's a huge part of my monthly income, because they're selling $1, $2, $3 million houses. Same thing for you guys. And you can expand into those areas that's really going to bring in a lot of money for you. And you don't have to concentrate on those, $200,000, $300,000 houses if you're in an area that's your price range. And then, of course, equity opportunities. This is huge, huge, huge. I joined eXp a little over 3 years ago. The stock was $2.42, and we're at $43 today. Did y'all see that? $43. I could pay my mortgage off of my house right now with my stock. I don't even want to ask you, Kathy. I know you could do a lot with your stock at this point. But it's amazing, because this is money that the company has given us. This is a retirement plan of hundreds of thousands of dollars that the company has given us. Like, would you have saved hundreds of thousands of dollars in a bank account in the last 3 years? Probably not. I mean, we're real estate agents. Like, we like to go out and have fun and buy new cars and travel and shop and, like, do all that fun stuff, right? So the equity opportunities are amazing. It's a publicly traded company, and you literally get stock for selling your first house. You get stock anytime anyone that you refer to the company. When they sell their first house, you get stock. When you cap out, you get stock. And if you're a productive agent, if you're selling like 30 houses a year, then you're going to be an icon, and you're going to get your entire cap back. So you're essentially over 100% commission. So if you're interested in that, we'll talk. But I got a little crazy about stock because I'm super excited about the account right now. So it's not just about the revenue share and the stock, all right? eXp offers a lot of tools. It's a tech company. eXp is a technology company. And so this is just a few of the things that they offer. Enterprise is like our back office where you can literally, you have access to everything in the entire company. It keeps track of all of your sales. It keeps track of your team, your stock, which is with Morgan Stanley. Like everything you can imagine is right here with one click. SkySlope is our online transaction management software system. So everything is loaded into SkySlope. We have a transaction team that goes through and makes sure everything's good. And then once it is, then that gets sent over to the attorney with the DA and you get paid, right? What I like about this is I'm not a very organized person, and I really hated keeping files. And you don't have to do that anymore. Like everything is in the cloud, it's in SkySlope, you know it's 100% accurate, and if you have the commission come back on you 2 years from now and say, oh, remember Miss Sally at so-and-so 123 Main Street? I need to see her file. You're not like going crazy pulling your hair out trying to find it. It's here and you know that it's good. You know that everything's done on it. That was important to me. Workplace is built for us by Facebook. Workplace is like identical to Facebook. Every single eXp agent, anyone that works for corporate, the founder, the CEOs, the vice presidents, I mean, you name it, we all have a workplace profile page, and we chat with each other. We do everything in Workplace. It's amazing. It's just like the Messenger on Facebook, identical. CRM and lead gen. I'll cover this in the next slide. And then branding and marketing, talking about everything done for you. I was showing you guys some stuff today. It's like you can have everything. You can have your newsletters, your brochures, all of your marketing pieces, your videos, your social media content. Everything is templated out. And then once you put your picture and your name and all of your information in, it just automatically does it. And then it gives it to you. And you don't have to do it. It's pretty cool. CRM and lead gen. This is really important to a lot of agents because I think I was speaking with you, Candace, that your broker just bought into this, right? Mm-hmm. So we use KV Core. And if you were to go as an individual agent, it's about $1,000 to set up your account with them. And then it's about $300 to $500 per month, I think, depending on which account you get. And with eXp, you're getting this for free, like literally for free. And so why this is so good is you're getting your own website. It's not eXp this, eXp that. No, it's you. Okay, yeah, it has eXp on it, but you can edit it the way that you want. You can have all of your pictures, your videos, your about me, like your everything on it. And it's all IDX fed. So now you're sending your clients to your website, which, by the way, gives you the ability to build out squeeze pages and landing pages that you can use on social media to then drive more people to your website. Then it automatically data collects and automatically puts them into a drip campaign, and boom, you're building your database with this. That's why they charge so much for it. But this is a phenomenal system. I do a lot of trainings on this. So what are the bones of the company? Every single agent that comes in is on an 80-20 split. So 80% to you, 20% to eXp. The cap is $16,000. Once you hit that cap, you go to 100% commission. So the standard cost over here is $149 to start. It's not $149,000 to buy a franchise, by the way. Has anyone ever looked at buying a franchise? They're like between $100,000 and $200,000 to buy a franchise. It's crazy. The monthly is $85 per month, and that includes everything. Like, seriously, that includes your website, your sky slope, all of your marketing, everything is included in that. There's 2 per transaction fees. There's a $25 broker review fee, so that's just paying literally your broker, because you are assigned a broker wherever you are in the world. You're assigned a broker that's like in your backyard. That's who your broker in charge is. And so $25 broker review, just to make sure everything's okay with your file. And then a $40 risk management, which is your email. Okay. They do this per transaction, and it caps at $500 for the year. So I've heard, I don't know what is standard here, but when I'm doing these presentations in California, they about fall out of their seat because they're paying between $2,000 and $3,000 a year in E&O insurance. I was like, what? But yeah, it caps at $500. So once you hit your cap at $16,000, you go to 100% commission. There's one thing that changes. Instead of paying your $25 broker review fee, you're now paying a $250 transaction fee, and that's it. So you're 100% commission, but you're paying eXp $250. Now, if you do that 20 times, or if you have it hit the $5,000 from that $250 times 20, that's going to bring you to Icon Agent. Is anyone in here selling more than 25 houses a year? So if you're selling more, I don't know what your price range is, but it's depending on your numbers, about 25 to 30 houses a year is going to get you Icon status. And if you hit that, then you get that entire $16,000 back in stock. So that's the genius of it, right? Any questions about that? I know it's a lot of information.
So are you charging the client a transaction fee too
You can.
to cover the $250?
You can do it. Yep. This eXp says you can do whatever you want to do in that regards. Also, they're not going to set a certain commission for you either. If you want to do something at a 3% or a 4%, you can do that. There is a minimum commission for eXp, and it's $565. So as long as they're able to make that, they do give you 3 freebies a year because they want you to buy investment property, where it's $310, and that's if you have your name on the deed or your name on the company that's purchasing or selling the property. So that's considered a personal transaction. So, but they do want you to do that. Yep. So the reason, that's really the reason why we've grown so much. We're at 32,000 agents right now. When I joined those 3,000 agents, 32,000, we're estimated to be at 60,000 by the end of this year. And we're going for 1 million agents strong by 2030. So that's like a very realistic number with the amount of growth that we're having. We just hired the vice president of Realty. He has taken other brokerages into 139 different countries, and we literally just hired him a couple of months ago, and that's why we're breaking open 5 more countries. We're breaking open Mexico, Germany, Portugal, South Africa, and France by the end of this year, and then we'll have 10 more countries coming next year. And so that's exciting as well because, you know, the growth has been insane. And obviously we own the tech company, and that's another reason why the growth has been insane, because our cloud office environment, we are now selling to other brokerages, or not other brokerages, to other companies as well. So my only question really is, you know, how many income streams do you have? How many do you want to have, right? My mission is to inspire 10,000 agents to live a passive income lifestyle. And for me, a passive income lifestyle is being able to generate enough passive income that's going to pay all of your hard expenses. And if you're making $100 more than what it takes you to live on, you're free because you're not stressing out if that deal falls apart, right? So multiple streams of income, obviously you have to have it. With eXp, you're going to be getting your income from selling homes because you're not going to stop selling homes, right? I mean, that's your career. You're also getting a ton from referrals if that's what you choose to do. That's what I choose to do. I pass about 100 referrals a year because I'm using the short-term rental properties to get these deals, and then I'm passing those to my agents. Also, you're gaining your stock in a publicly traded company, and that's huge. And then the revenue share. You may not be someone who's like, I'm going to go attract agents and I'm going to go build a team. You don't have to. But I can tell you right now, when you get into this company and you start seeing the growth and the integrity and the leadership, you feel sorry for your friends that are not with eXp. You're like, oh my God, like you've got to see this. And you organically start attracting people to you. And it just happens. And so we've seen it a lot. Verbella is the cloud office environment that we have. And we actually just bought this company. It's a software company. We bought it about a year ago. And we are now, you can become an affiliate for free. And you can literally sell this office environment, and now it's exploding because everyone's taken their business to the cloud. And you can make another revenue share off of that, like a 25% a month revenue off of selling the software system. So if you're in a network of people that has brick and mortar locations, and they're looking at taking their business to the cloud and having an actual like virtual based company, then you can present them with this, and then they take it from there, but they referee, just like referring an agent to the company. And then, of course, I'm big into short-term rentals. I think they're great, not only for the income that it produces, but for the leads that it produces, and then being able to pass those leads to my agent. So then it's another 25% referral. Then eXp is paying 3.5%. Then I'm making money on the people coming and staying in my properties. So it's a way to be able to, you have your core business, right? Your core. And then you need to create these different businesses, these different things that are around it that are going to feed that one business, but all of this needs to make money too. And that's where true wealth comes in. That's where true financial freedom comes in, because you have multiple things feeding you, multiple streams of income. Does that make sense? All right, so don't get stuck. Start doing your passive income. Now, it's really all about making it's the baby steps, and you're not going to get here overnight. I bought my first long-term rental 8 years ago, and I did long-term rental for a long time. And then I got into short-term rental 2 years ago. And then I got serious about eXp about a year ago. And so it's a progression, but you're going to mold into that. But it's really about surrounding yourself with people who are doing it, surrounding yourself with people who are going to help you do it. And that's what I love about our group. And, Alicia's killing it. She's only doing this for like a month and a half, 2 months. She's already like generating tons of leads. And so it's just fun. And then Ginger just came on like a couple weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, and I want to get them doing this exact same thing. So it's just good. So thank you. Oh, my condo. Yeah. If you want to learn more about what we have going on, if you go to my website, amandathetravelingrealtor.com, it's going to have all kinds of stuff on there. When you're a part of our World Cappers team, which is us, you'll have a login, and you'll have all of my trainings and everything in there. And I do masterminds, I do CE cruises for real estate agents, I do all kinds of fun stuff. And we're living in Cabo until right now, November 30th. We'll see if we stay. But yeah, we're doing masterminds in Cabo, and then I'll be back here in November. I'm so excited. Coming back to Coach's event. He's got Tim Story and Sharon Letcher coming back in November for like a 2-day deep dive. So we'll be back for that, and then we'll be doing some more events when we're back. So are there any questions? Because that's the end of my presentation. Y'all are like, was that like fire hose? Was that like way too much information? I like dummied it down a little bit too.
That was really good, very informative.
Good, thank you.
I think it was great.
So any questions on like how do you get started, like anything like that? It takes you about for short-term rentals, it takes you about $10,000 to start out. And so that's one of the questions I get a lot is like, well, how do I just get started? Like, what if I don't have $10,000? I mean, I've had agents go and like pull HELOCs on their houses, and I've had, get creative. There's a lot of different ways to get creative. So, you can do it. Forgot my camera's still rolling. Boom.